Hi, we're going to talk about solving systems of equations, but there are a couple of special cases. So it's a 3x3 system of equations, 3 equations, 3 variables. And what I have here is I already have this matrix, I already have this matrix stored for the numbers, -4, -2, -1, 15. There's more here, etc. Okay, so we're going to use our calculator to continue. We're going to aim to exit this, going to go back to the matrix menu. We're going to go to Math, find reduced row echelon form, and then we're going to go back to Matrix, select our Matrix A, and we're going to do this. So this is a situation that you're going to see here. If you look at the bottom row, 0, 0, 1, that means 0 equals 1. That is a false statement. And what happens here, this is a situation with no solution. You're not going to have a solution in this system, so that's the answer we are going to have. If you're not going to have a true statement on the bottom here, because the other rows, they're difficult to figure out, but the bottom row is always going to have 0, 0, 0, and something like that, unless it's going to have, if you don't have an identity matrix here, which we don't, then 0, 0, this all gives you 0 here, and the other side gives you 1. They cannot possibly equal each other. So we have no solution here. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the next problem. The next problem is going to be this one. And we are going to do the same thing, so we're going to have to type this one in. It's the same dimensions, so when we're going to go to the matrix menu, we just need to type in the new values. It is 3, 5, -2, 13, -5, -2, -4, 20, -14, -17, 2, and -19. So this is our system of equations entered in an augmented matrix. And what we're going to do is to repeat the same thing. So we're going to exit this. Well, I can recall this operation that I already did. I just changed my matrix, but I'm still trying to do reduced row echelon form. And when I type this, you can't see the whole thing. We do have 0, 0, 0, but if we scroll a little bit to the right, we do have 0 here as well. So 0 equals 0, that's actually a true statement. And that is not the same as the previous problem. So what we're going to need to do now is figure out what to do with this. And we're actually going to have to do it by hand, because the calculator is not going to solve it for you. This does have a solution. It's going to be infinitely many solutions, but we need to determine the exact details of what it's going to be. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to number these equations. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a slightly different approach. We're going to take equations 1 and 3, and I'm going to add them together. So the first equation is 3x plus 5y minus 2z equals 13. The third equation is -14x minus 17y plus 2z equals -19. The reason I chose to add them together is because this will eliminate z from my equation. Okay, if I add them together, this is going to leave me with -11x minus 12y, and here I'm going to get -6. So this is an equation with only 2 variables. All right. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I need to choose 2 more equations. If I do equations 2 and I double the second equation, that's going to give me 4, and this will cancel. So if I do equation 2 plus 2 times equation 3, that what I'm indicating here is I'm doubling the third equation. The first equation is going to be -5x minus 2y minus 4z equals 20. And we're doubling the second equation, I'm sorry, the third equation, -28x minus 34y plus 4z equals negative 38, and I'm going to add them together. This will give me negative 33x minus 36y. This is going to cancel just like it did here, equals negative 18. So now I'm going to combine this equation and this equation because they only have two variables, and I'm going to have two equations. Negative 11x minus 12y equals negative 6, and negative 33x minus 36y equals negative 18. If I divide, in this case, the second equation by 3, I will get negative 11x minus 12y equals negative 6. It's going to be my first equation. And my second equation is going to be negative 11x minus 12y equals negative 6. They are identical. This indicates that you have infinitely many solutions. But what we are going to be interested in when you do this is that you need to establish the relationship often between x, y, and z. Remember, it's not just any three random values of x, y, and z. They are connected to each other. Okay, so since I eliminated z from, well, what I can do here is, if I solve one of these equations for y, well, it's the identical equations. So take one of these equations, and so we're going to get negative 12y equals 11x minus 6. So y is going to equal negative 11 over 12x plus 1/2. That's going to give me my y value. So I can write that my solution is going to be x, comma, negative 11 over 12x plus 1/2. And what I need to do now is figure out the y value. So what I'm going to need to do is substitute, so x is going to be x, and then y is going to be this expression, and then that will allow me to figure out the value of z. So let me do it here. Let's say I use the first equation. Okay, so in the first equation I'm going to have 3x, x is going to stay the same, plus 5 times negative 11 over 12x plus 1/2. This is what I have so far. I still need the value of z. Minus 2z equals 13. And what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to solve this equation for z. It's a little bit involved here because of all this stuff here, but that's going to be okay. 3x plus or minus 55 over 12x plus 5/2 minus 2z equals 13. I would multiply everything by 12 to get rid of the fractions. So 36x minus 55x plus, no, I'm not missing anything. Multiply these by 12, this will give me 30 minus 24z equals 13 times 12 is 132. It's 13 times 12 was, I'm sorry, 156. So I'm going to combine all my like terms. Actually, what I need to do is move the z on one side and move non-z on the other side. So what I'm going to get is negative 19x. Bring this here. So that's going to give us minus 126 equals 24z. And z is going to be negative 19 over 24x minus 126 divided by 24, and that's the value of z. I believe we can simplify this, but the bottom line here that we're going to get is, so there's the value of x, the value of y is going to be calculated by using this formula, and the value of z is going to be calculated using this formula, and this will give you a relationship for an ordered triple. Hope this helps.